In 1882, German philosopher Friedrich Nietzsche published The Gay Science, which features a famous scene called The Parable of the Madman. And in this story, a man runs into a busy marketplace in broad daylight, holding a lantern, shouting, "I seek God! I seek God!" People laugh at him. They tease him. Did God get lost? They treat it like a joke. But the madman stops, stares at them, and finally says, "God is dead. God remains dead. And we have killed him." Now, obviously, Nietzsche didn't mean we literally killed a god. He meant that science and reason has replaced the need for God. We swapped mystery for facts, the cathedral for the lab, and made the divine unnecessary. Nietzsche was warning us. Removing God also removes the sense of security people relied on through God. For thousands of years, religion told people who they were, why they suffered, and what their lives meant.
Hi, Jenny.
When that sun disappeared,
Do you want to talk?
Nietzsche predicted that the West would face a crisis of meaning. We would lose our centre of gravity. So what do? We replaced the old structure with a new one. In the 20th century, we built society around utility. We decided that meaning comes from being useful, what you are. You're a writer, a coder, a doctor, an analyst. Your identity is your competence. Your value is your output. I am useful, therefore I matter. And that brings us to today. Right now, that entire structure is collapsing. We've created machines that can imitate the very abilities we've built our identities on: logic, creativity, analysis, language. If you're a writer and the machine writes faster, if you're a coder and the machine codes better, if you're an analyst and the machine sees what you can't, the real fear isn't, will I lose my job? It's the same fear the madman felt. We're facing the death of human utility. And just like in Nietzsche's time, we're not prepared for the psychological weight that comes with it. So hi, I'm Dan, and in this video, I want to look at AI through Nietzsche's eyes. I want to explore the danger of becoming what he called the last man, a passive, comfort-addicted observer. And I want to talk about the solution he offered. Because if we're losing our utility, we need something else to keep us from falling into the dark. In the old world, your value was given to you. You were a child of God. You had a soul. You didn't have to earn your right to exist. It was inherent. But as the world became more secular, we looked to new ways to measure human worth. And for the most part, we seem to have settled on meritocracy. We decided that the most valuable humans are the ones who can solve problems, process information, and generate wealth. We moved from the cathedral to the office. We stopped confessing our sins and started updating our resumes. Think about how we introduce ourselves. We don't say who we are, we say what we do. I'm a lawyer, I'm a designer, I'm a content creator. I think we can safely say that for the most part we have completely merged our identity with our utility. And for a long time this felt safe. During the Industrial Revolution, machines came for our muscles. The steam engine and the tractor made physical strength less valuable. But we didn't panic. In fact, we felt superior. We told ourselves, oh, that's fine, let the machines do the heavy lifting. Humans are the thinking animal. Our value is in our minds. We retreated into a cognitive citadel, if you will. We convinced ourselves that creativity, logic, and judgment were the sacred, untouchable parts of the human experience. Things silicon could never touch, and certainly not emulate. But AI has breached the citadel walls. When you read a poem that moves you, only to find out it was generated, or generated code that builds the app idea in your head perfectly, or an algorithm that diagnoses a disease better than a specialist, it doesn't just threaten your income, it proves that the very thing you thought was special about you, you're entirely. They could still exist for pleasure and gambling, but it had zero economic utility. We're now staring at the combustion engine of the mind. If everything you believe makes you valuable, your intelligence, your cleverness, your creativity is suddenly eclipsed by a tool, then you're not just facing unemployment, you're facing a spiritual crisis. Because if you've spent your whole life believing, I matter because I'm useful, and you wake up in a world where a machine, a technology is more useful than you, then you are, in Nietzsche's sense, about to lose your religion. So if we can no longer find meaning in work, if our utility can be replaced, then what's left? When a value system collapses, we fall into what Nietzsche called nihilism. Nihilism isn't just sadness or pessimism, it's the belief that nothing truly matters anymore, that the highest values we once believed in have lost their power. Indeed, Nietzsche warned that once we lost our guiding why, we wouldn't immediately find a new one. Instead, we'd reach for comfort. We'd choose the path of least resistance, and out of that choice, a new kind of human being would emerge. He called this person Der letzte Mensch, or the last man. The last man is the final product of a civilization that has made itself completely safe. He's healthy, he's comfortable, he has entertainment, he has convenience, he knows everything because his world is full of information, but he has no fire inside him. He takes no risks. He has no great purpose. He avoids suffering at all costs, and he never aims at anything that could break his heart. Nietzsche says that when he asks, what is love? What is creation? And what is longing? He's not genuinely curious. He's showing that he no longer understands or cares about these deeper human drives. To him, life is about staying warm, staying fed, and staying comfortable. Nothing more, nothing less. For over a century, the last man was just a philosophical warning. But today, look around. Silicon Valley is building the perfect habitat for him. The promise of AI is total frictionlessness. A life without effort. A life where nothing is hard. Why struggle to learn a new language? The AI translates instantly. Why struggle to write a difficult message? The AI drafts it for you. Why struggle to create art? The AI generates it in seconds. Why wrestle with ideas? Why practice a skill? Why learn anything slowly? We're optimizing the human experience so much that we risk optimizing the humanity out of it. And that's the trap. We think we want this. We think we want comfort, convenience, and instant results. But Nietzsche understood something tech companies don't. Meaning comes from friction. Viktor Frankl, the psychiatrist who survived the Nazi concentration camps, called it new dynamics. He argued that mental health requires a certain amount of tension. We think we want homeostasis, a tensionless state where we're perfectly relaxed. But Frankl said that this is dangerous. He wrote that what man actually needs is the striving and struggling for a worthwhile goal. So when AI removes the struggle, when it answers the question before you've even asked it, it deprives you of that healthy tension. It creates an existential vacuum. And nature abhors a vacuum. So if you don't fill that space with purpose or struggle, despair will fill it for you. So back in 2008, I did the Inca Trail over the course of 3 days, hiking my way up and down the mountains all the way to Machu Picchu. And after 3 days making a whole bunch of new friends, having this amazing experience, we get there first thing in the morning to see a pair of tourists who'd taken the train. And their description of sunrise over Machu Picchu, one of the most glorious sights in all the world, was, that's neat. Because the meaning wasn't really in the view. The meaning was in the climb, the exhaustion, the doubt, the cold, the struggle to get there. And when AI removes the climb from everything, from art, from work, from learning, from creation, it leaves us with nothing but the view. And a view without a climb is just a screensaver. This is the real danger of the AI age. Not that robots will revolt, but that they'll pamper us into oblivion, doing all the thinking, creating, striving and learning for us, while we slowly become the last man. Comfortable, safe, unthreatened, and completely empty. So if the machine takes the struggle, what do? How do we keep our humanity alive? How do we avoid becoming the last man? Nietzsche had an answer for that too, but it requires accepting a hard truth about mediocrity. The reason we're so afraid of AI isn't just because it's powerful, it's because it exposes how much of our daily lives are actually pretty mediocre. Nietzsche wasn't a fan of the herd. He